So what is your relationship with the higher power at your level of advancement? We have a council of intelligent beings who advise and oversee major decisions such as intergalactic migrations, upgrades to the next dimension, technological advancements, and well-being improvements. However, everything is created and accomplished together with a global unity and consent of all. It's like a democracy on steroids. There is no higher and lower, there is a respectful equality of all. There is also an acknowledgement of certain advancement of some intelligent forces among us, which has been a part of the collective consciousness. Let's talk about God and the universe. Is it the same? I have noticed Einstein saw them as separate. Is it true? I feel like we have been holding on to our primitive views for too long. What is God? According to your definition, it is a supreme being, the ultimate creator who oversees everything, enforces its law upon humans, punishes the wicked, rewards the good, and does his ruling according to his very much mysterious ways incomprehensible for people, and that is very close by definition to the higher power, except this is actually a being. None of it is true. Nothing is more manipulated and blackmailed than the term God. It is an ultimate mind control card, a universal threat, the fear of something that is invisible and incomprehensible, which might be everywhere and for anyone. It is very sad to see how gravely it has been misused. Let's start with quite innocent distortions. In some developing human races and civilizations, God was simply the word for the forces of nature. Something that cannot be controlled and therefore to be feared. Floods, thunder, wildfires, and so on. Since it affected humans greatly, they called it God. Common people would listen to the leaders, and the leaders would misrepresent the image of God according to the severity of their corrupted intentions. The correct meaning of God is actually gods, in plural, are the original donors of the intergalactic DNA. 7 races I have discussed earlier in the book, in a chapter called Origin of Humans, 7 Star Seeds. There are 7 distinct races overseeing the human hybridization project on Earth from its inception: reptilians, insectoids, Pleiadians, Arcturians, Orionians, Sirians, and Andromedians. They are the gods if you define them from the standpoint of the original creation. They are the creators of the human race. Their DNA has been developing and evolving in humans and other animals for millions of years. They took an active part in the intellectual and spiritual enlightenment and education of all human races from the get-go. They still do it up to this day and will continue to do so in the future, in your understanding of time. Their goal has always been to bring out the best in humanity and create a super race with more potential for development than their separate counterparts. It's like having to raise children together, which brought a lot more unity into the intergalactic alliance. The Confederation no longer has any major discord. In the beginning, as you recall in your ancient mythology, the gods occasionally would fight with each other, and sometimes it would affect humans. Mythology is just an interpretation of what was really happening in the galaxies, but yes, there were certain conflicts that took place and are no longer existent in this era of evolution. The gods have always cared about humans. They frequently visited various places on Earth and counseled certain civilizations on a consistent basis, including but not limited to Lemuria, Atlantis, Maya, Inca, Etruscans, Druids, and Egypt. The distortion of understanding gods took place every time in every human race. There were always a few powerful and self-centered individuals who would use gods as a manipulation tool. At some point, the Big Seven decided to do something different and made their presence undetectable as opposed to full-blown open interaction in the past. This way, perhaps there would be no more reason to control others by using gods as a mental weapon. Humanity still used gods as a mind control tool, even in the absence of gods. When Jesus made his teaching known, a whole new spin on mind control took place on earth. A cult you know as Christianity. Speaking of which, was Jesus Christ a son of God or wasn't he? This whole Christian doctrine seems to be a bit convoluted. So many inconsistencies and contradictions. For instance, why did they decide to believe in one God all of a sudden? The only change that truly occurred to make people believe in one supreme God instead of many gods is the formation of the Intergalactic Confederation Council. This is a united intelligent force representing all the 7 races and many others in an equal manner and projects their advisory over the planet Earth. It has been communicated to the advanced minds on Earth, and that is perhaps why such a change took place. Jesus, metaphorically speaking, is indeed a son of God, as are all of you, every single one of you. Remember, the God's DNA is your DNA. You are the God's daughters and sons. His teachings were greatly distorted through the years, and his true reason for manifesting himself as a spiritual leader was lost and deliberately buried. Jesus was a high-dimensional being, simply put, a very advanced human consciousness, actually, a group consciousness manifested through a singular physical form, disguise, if you please. He volunteered for the mission with one goal. That goal was to make a shift in human consciousness and accelerate the awakening of more advanced energetic frequencies. During the time he was born and lived, there was a full-blown ruling of the human ego. It is known to you as the yellow chakra residing in the body's center. This chakra is associated with the sun. The sun creates an individualized, active, outwardly energy in the human body and soul. The sun and a son become interchangeable terms when it came to Jesus and his role. The sun, as a ruler of the universe, was worshipped for thousands of years. Jesus came to make the shift to the center of the heart, the moon-driven feminine and passive energy, away from the yellow center of personal power. It is a change from the 3rd to the 4th dimension. It is an awakening of the emotional, loving, and compassionate human energy and the green globe of energy instead of the self-centered yellow globe. The Christian teaching of love for one another and not focusing on personal gains and advantages by hurting others, that was his goal and the mission. There is a great distortion, not only in his mission, but also in the facts of his life. For instance, he lived much longer than 33. He was much older than that. He had many female companions and fathered many children, whose bloodline continues up to these days. He died from what you would call a heart attack while crucified and died almost instantly. He didn't come to take upon himself the sins of humanity, neither were there sins per se. Humanity was just immature, and what was fully known prior to his arrival, his violent death, although accounted for as one possibility, was not a primary focus. His arrival helped to shift the energy of the planet and humanity in general. He served as a conductor for the higher source to transmit such energy to Earth. Due to his high-dimensional nature, he was what you'd call a seventh-dimensional being. It was easy for him to demonstrate various magical deeds, such as manifesting his thoughts and intentions into physical reality, like turning water into wine, curing the sick and disabled, and appearing to be resurrected by making his etheric body visible. He accomplished his mission. His arrival did initiate the heart chakra and marked a new era of Cancer, the ruler of the emotional chalice in humans. Mistakenly, it was thought that the era of Pisces started with the arrival of Jesus, as there was strong mentioning of water and zodiacal references to it. Fish, therefore, even became the symbol of Christianity, but that's wrong again, deliberately or neglectfully, you decide. The symbol should be a crab. You are currently in the full-blown era of Cancer, with the subcycle of Aquarius moving towards Pisces. Note, the global cycle of over 2,500 years is going backward on the zodiacal wheel, while the subcycle of 173 or so years is going clockwise. Technically, you are in the subcycle of Aquarius while in the global cycle of Cancer. It is like two wheels moving simultaneously in the opposite direction. One is within the other one. That is the famous picture of the wheel within the wheel. The Tropic of Cancer Earth regions are the most attuned to the Cancerian energy, therefore. Let's return to Christianity. Yes, the fuzzy dogmas behind it are easily explained. There were biased interpretations of the life of Jesus, and as a result, the facts were twisted to serve a specific goal. The goal has always been power. The Christian religion then was formed to preserve power by all means, and the Church, especially the Catholic Church, rose to the occasion. Incredible wealth was accumulated because of such an institution. Thousands of people were killed, tortured, humiliated, and enslaved by the organization that calls itself holy. In reality, this cult is the most brutal and inhumane establishment in recent history. Such a twist was not planned for. Why then was nothing done to limit the Church's influence? Interference in this process, although it might sound merciful and justified, in reality serves no evolution for humanity. Just like in the case of Karma with your mother, coming to your rescue would not initiate the end of a slave mentality in you. Only your own inner work and development may finally make you ascend above your tolerance for abuse and domination by others. If there were a spacecraft that would come and eliminate Christianity and its churches from the planet, do you believe the human race would evolve beyond their own enslavement and mind control, regardless of the name and reason for it? God, devil, money, mother, in your case? Evolution is an internal process. Like fermenting cheese, you need time and ingredients. So is the development of consciousness. All the ingredients are here. Just time and intentions based on internal processing will bring humanity closer to liberation from abuse and, in the end, closer to divine intelligence. The Christ consciousness was a group consciousness to begin with. He is beyond the 7 dimensions now and no longer has a physical body. He is mostly a part of the advanced, intelligent energy of the insectoid Mentis race and participates in the global enlightenment missions across galaxies. We have many intelligent clusters who wish to accelerate their shift to the next energetic level. That is where Jesus' experience comes in handy. He's got an impressive resume